I quit YouTube for 455 days and it literally changed my life, my creativity, my business with less than 500 subscribers. So I want to tell you why I'm full body fuck yeah towards stepping up to my big mission as an ambitious creative and why I'm using YouTube as my vessel. So I'm going to share why knowing what that full body fuck yes feels like in my body is so important to this mission and why the process of rising into that mission is scary as heck, but exactly what I'm called to do and why I need to do it. And I want to share with how you can resource yourself so that you can play big in life and live radically as a creative so that you can live a fulfilled, actualized, expansive life where you're just really expressing yourself authentically. So, yeehaw! Let's dive in. I want to welcome you all. If you're new here, my name's Kev. I'm a recovering perfectionist, and this is going to be a bit different than the normal programming, the normal scheduled programming. I usually talk about creative business, one-person business, strategies, mindset, embodiment, emotional work. But this is different in the sense of I want to share the behind the scenes of what led me to this place because I think it can be so transformative for you all to understand. So I hope you discover some nugget of wisdom, and unfortunately if you're looking for fancy editing, you're not going to get it, so get out of here. This is raw and real, that's how we do it here. A little bit of my backstory. I am like a part wannabe cowboy, architectural designer, surfer. I also do furniture. I love teaching creatives how to make great money authentically. And yeah, that's my spiel to get your attention. Whether or not you care doesn't matter to me because I'm going to keep talking and hopefully you'll learn something today. So I quit YouTube for 455 days. I did like YouTube shorts in early 2023. And it was so cringe. Like I deleted them a year ago, so I'm sorry you can't look at them. I wish I had them to share, but it was so bad, you know. I have so much love and acceptance for that part of myself, but it just wasn't playful. I was being too rigid about how I wanted to be seen, and it was all really just a reaction to me not feeling good enough. And I believed that I wasn't good enough. So I wanted to prove to myself that I was good enough by trying to be something that I wasn't and being rigid about it and trying to share what I was learning, but it just wasn't right. It was inauthentic, and you cannot unsee inauthenticity. So it was all just reactionary, and it became very clear that I had to take a step back. I knew I had a lot of work to do on myself before I felt that I was really embodied enough to help others in the big way that was on my heart that I wanted to do, but just for some reason just wasn't quite aligning and clicking. And even at that time, you know, I was scared of what I thought my mission was, and I didn't even quite know what it was, but I was scared. I pretended like I was ready because I was eager to help, but it was actually a way for me to hide, funny enough, by like trying so hard to make it happen was actually me believing that I was doing the work when in fact it was just me energetically coming from a place that was never going to make it happen. And yes, I know you don't have to be ready, you just have to be called, but it really was less of like a mental readiness and more of like a guttural feeling in my body that like, hey, this isn't right now and you need to listen to this. So the message from the universe was like, patience, Kev, you're right where you need to be and soon you'll understand why this doesn't feel right. So golden nugget number 1, know when it's time to just let something be, to stop grasping and listening. This was old me. Had something to prove to the world, was just living in this kind of old story, this kind of just reaction to the standard life, wanted to be so different. I love him so much, but yeah, there was a lot that was not working for my highest in the way that I was just living from old stories. So let's talk about the full body fuck yes that is so important to being successful as a creative and if you want to start this whole YouTube thing. So I really had to learn how to honor my no in order to make space for my fuck yes. And by doing this, it really takes deep listening, which is such an art form. And not to other people, but to yourself. You know, a really great experiment you can run in your life right now is just how deeply do I truly listen to myself? Do I hear what I really feel I have to say? do I sit with it and actually make change and actions from that place? For me, it's what I call the belly fire, that guttural kind of knowing, that yes and no that I listen to, and I'm learning to really trust that and lean into it more and more. It's really cultivating an intimate relationship with that bodily, somatic yes and no. And I just got a no for YouTube at that time, however long ago that was. And from that place, I stopped. I stopped posting, I stopped making videos, whatever, and I just listened. And I literally listened for more than a year because that's just what felt right. Came up with like these deep kind of soulful questions of like, what's my big why? What is my big mission? You know, all of those things kept arising in me. And then those questions led me to the big question of what does it mean to rise as a man? And like, oh, I can't even explain how powerful that feels in my body, because it really starts to open the door of like, what am I here for in this heart, soul, mind, body? What am I here for to learn, you know? And it's like, damn. So the way that I was defining that was a deep connection to my voice, emotional resiliency, creative expansion, mastery over sexual life force, and just embodying greater responsibility and impact in the world. And when you start to really define the constraints of the container and what you're after, that's when you really discover like the mission that can be birthed from that place, because it's redefining what you live for and who you are. And then so it became clear, and this evolves all the time, but it was like, I want to help ambitious creatives refine their self-concept, become more emotionally resilient, and make great money authentically so that they can live life fully alive, resourced, and connected. Because that was my personal journey. That's what felt real to me, and that's what I discovered. So I do that in my own life, and I also really want to help other people, and I have been helping other people discover that for themselves. Like, fuck yeah, like that feels so good. But before that really started to happen, Universe was like, that sounds great, Kev, let's do it. But here's all the shit you have to work through to get to step 0, good luck. And it just became so clear in sitting and listening that I had immense shame around being fully seen. I had a deep fear of inadequacy. I really over-identified with outdated old stories, like I said. I was too much of a perfectionist, and I really just was playing life not to lose. I was just hiding and staying small because it was safe. And so in that period of my life that was a really transformative and in a way turbulent period, I just finally looked at the work that I had been avoiding most of my life. And I said, challenge accepted. A big mission requires deep work. And just for the record, you know, I'm just getting to know the depths of this. This work is a lifelong dance. Doing that deep inner work takes so much time, patience, and resiliency to continually sit with, heal, make whole, and because there's always new data coming in, there's always new things that you're learning about yourself or new patterns being revealed. So it's not like, oh, now that I did the work, I'm all good to go. It's like you're always doing the work, unless you're avoiding it. But once you stop avoiding it, you're just doing it for the rest of your life. But that's the constant evolution of discovering freedom. So this work has led me to just a deep intuitive fuck yes to devote wholeheartedly to YouTube, to be much more embodied in clarity, confidence, and connection, so that I can finally have the impact that I want to have on you all and the people in my community and the people whose work I serve, like the physical work that serves people directly. And now it just helped me to know my values and what I truly want to be a stand for in this life. I want to be a stand for just like radical honesty, vulnerability, just being truthful to myself, creating deep connection with people, letting creativity really transform the way that we relate to one another. And for me personally, using architecture and space as a way to create intimacy, connection, and healing. It's like, ooh, you got to discover those things, because if not, you're just where you're aiming, you know? You're never going to hit the mark if you don't know where you're aiming. So I'm feeling more magnetic and aligned than ever, and I'm loving how you all are resonating with me. There's people that are leaving me these great comments, and I'm such a small channel, you know? People are like, you have wonderful energy, keep up the good work. You know, people are like, I hope the YouTube gods show this to more people. It's like, what a gift, you know? Just to know that people are resonating, and you know, that my story and what I speak about is so true for so many people. So wherever you are, your story is going to be true for so many other people. Your energy, your embodiment, your confidence, or even your lack thereof, because everyone's on a different step in the journey. And so it's been great to be able to reintroduce YouTube into my life in this process of being seen and helping and it to be received. So then golden nugget number 2, to fully own your desire, you have to fully own your fear. And desire is like my desire to embody my mission. But there's no committing and embodying to my mission without first doing that deep kind of embrace of the fears that I just desperately want to avoid. But I know that I have to look at them and feel them and heal them and make myself whole through them to actualize that big ambition that I have. I like to say that like your deepest fear is the doorway to your greatest potential. It's just a really scary doorway to walk up to. But we usually find right when you start opening the door, the hardest part's through. It's the resistance that's the hardest part. So great quote by a teacher of mine: life will present you with people and circumstances to reveal where you are not yet free. Ooh, everything in life conspiring to help you discover that freedom. So lastly, let's talk about how you can play big. So it's really learning to follow God's breadcrumbs. Life reveals where you're not free, so there's always little moments through the circumstances, through the relationships that you have, the triggers, the patterns, the weird little events. There's breadcrumbs to follow inside of that. It's just, they often come in the form that we're not looking for. Sometimes it's the great things, other times it's like, man, this deep feeling of just like not feeling good enough and shame keeps popping up. It's like, that's a breadcrumb. It's one that might be a little moldy and old, but it is something that is coming so that I personally, that was my story, so that I can look at that to become more free, so that I can be more embodied in helping and serving the world. So you're gonna have to dissolve fear, eradicate old beliefs, and design a life that's actually aligned and liberated. So you have to discover what that means to you. And that only happens when you start to really be a stand for freedom. That's your only purpose in life, to discover like what liberation means to you and to take action from that place. Playing small is pretty much anything that isn't that, right? And I think I want to really make the distinction, like you don't have to completely upend your life. A lot of people, when they talk about freedom or this or that, they think they have to make some like big radical change. One second. A lot of people think they have to make some like big radical change, but that's usually not the case, right? It's just staying true to what is real for you now and really discovering the patterns, the stories, the beliefs that are just time to be cast aside. It doesn't mean you move across the world. It just means I'm gonna finally do the work that's been confronting me, and what that leads to, I don't know, but I know it's gonna be a more expansive self-concept than I'm living right now. So playing big just means that you're a stand for discovering deeper freedom, right? Learning more about yourself and cultivating connection on the deepest level possible. So quitting YouTube allowed me to discover deeper freedom and to become more of the man that I wanted to become, that I knew I could become, that I'm being called to become. And now I can show up on YouTube and have such a big impact because I'm more embodied in the man that I know I want to be. And I'm no longer coming from a place of reaction where I was living out the pattern of feeling not good enough and trying to prove that I was good enough. Now I'm confident and secure in my relationship to myself, where I can just speak from a place that's from the heart and authentic. And that resonates with people, you know? So it's already happening. I'm a small growing channel. People are impacted by my work and my business is growing from this. All because I honored my no to take the space to listen, to discover what was really needing to come through, which led me to my yes. So, I mean, it's not extraordinary by any means. Like, look, I mean, in the last, pretty much since I started posting again, I gained 150 followers or subscribers. But it's like, you know what? Like, that's devotion to the practice, and that is growth. It doesn't matter what the number looks like. It's just being like, whoa, like people it's like, whoa, people are resonating with this. So learn how to trust your deep inner knowing, your fuck yes, your fuck no, and take action upon it. Because the more that you align your actions with your inner knowing, the more integrity you embody every time. So more integrity equals more of what you want in life. If there's one thing to take away, this beautiful picture, if there's one thing to take away, just the more you are in alignment and in freedom, the more you're gonna have the life that you want to live. So my journey of quitting YouTube and coming back to this place has been one of the most transformative seasons of my life, and I'm so glad to be here to step it up and to serve you all and to hopefully make you all more emotionally resilient, connected to yourselves, and hopefully help you make a lot more money as a creative. So I hope that you follow along the journey. Please subscribe if this resonated with you. Drop a comment and let me know why. So I'm looking forward to seeing you in the next one for our more regularly scheduled programming. But until then, stay well. Ciao.